Hi, and welcome to Poptography. Today I'm going to show you how I took Jedi Master Soul number 725 from the Acolyte wave and created this image.
Show your face.
Hi, and welcome back to Poptography. My name is Patrick, and today I'm going to show you behind the scenes for Jedi Master Soul number 725. So first what we did is we actually created a little mini set, a mini diorama, if you will. So I took some foam, some branches and twigs, and kind of made a little makeshift forest. I also had some kind of like a moss, basically something I picked up at like my Hobby Lobby to kind of use for grass and things like that. I've used it on a few shoots sparingly, but I kind of used that to kind of lay the groundwork for some ground. And then I put my pops on the set. Now for this one, we actually used Jedi Master Soul number 725, and I used another pop that you're probably wondering, how did I get that guy? Because they didn't make a Funko Pop for him. Well, I'll explain that in just a moment. But first, what we did is we got the pops on the set, and then we added our backdrop. So I used my virtual volume, which is nothing more than a monitor about 2 or 3 feet behind the subject. And in this case, I wanted to get kind of a foresty, kind of nighttime kind of look, something kind of eerie and moody. And I found this image on Adobe Stock, and I thought it would work perfectly. So blending that with the actual diorama really was going to help blend and sell this image, because I'd have some trees kind of where you can see them in focus or slightly out of focus. And then when you get to the background, they're definitely out of focus, and it really looks really clean. So after getting my pops on the set, what I need to do next was kind of light it. So I did something I typically don't do. I usually just stick with my lume cubes. But in this case, I actually had 2 lights. I had used them a couple times. I bought these lights at Five Below. They're 2 very cheap LED lights. And like the sign on the door says, Five Below. So less than $5 for these 2 little plug-in USB LEDs. They're great. I'm able to cheat their RGB, so I'm able to change the color. And I add a little teal and a little green so I can mimic the light that we're seeing from the backdrop. Added that on the left and right of my diorama, shining light and kind of into the set. And from there, I started with my lume cubes. So the first lume cube, I used diffused on the globe on a boom above Soul and kind of in front. And that basically lit him from the top. As you see, you got a really nice light, and it carves out, as you'll see, really carves out Soul's hair, face, and sculpt. And we got that nice highlight you can see from the teal light coming from the left side. And you also see some of that fill light or accent light from the green light coming from the right side of Soul. Really cool effect. Then, for my second lume cube, I added a blue gel on the snoot, and that's coming low to high to mimic the lightsaber that Soul's holding in his hand. Once we did that, I was able to get a little bit, because I wanted a little bit to splash up in the chin and cheek of the character, so it kind of really sold that he was there. This lightsaber is lighting the area up, lighting Soul up as well. For my third lume cube, I wanted to just carve out a little bit more of our makeshift The Stranger. So what I did is I used a red gel on a snoot, brought that very close, and I had that angle so it went right across. As you can see on the drapery of the robe of The Stranger, it really came across very nicely and kind of got onto the mask. And that's exactly what I wanted to do. I really didn't want The Stranger in focus. I kind of wanted him to be out of focus because we don't have a Stranger. Unfortunately, with the Acolyte getting canceled, we might not get a second wave of Acolyte Funko Pops, so I had to make my own. And I'm going to show you how I did this. So I wanted to add something a little bit different. I usually focus just on one Funko Pop, but knowing this Soul and kind of looking at the angle, I really wanted him to kind of be looking over his shoulder as though the Stranger was there. Now, we don't have a Stranger in a Funko Pop. We have Qimir, but it's kind of more in his like civilian outfit, kind of disguise, if you will, or facade, maybe we should say, that he was showing to us in the Jedi. But what I decided to do was a few things. So, knowing that we had that kind of helmet with the cortosis, and it was kind of like a bronze, kind of metally, but it was kind of dark, really, in a few of those episodes fighting at nighttime, I really wasn't worried. So I actually used one of my Knights of Ren kind of chrome feature that they did a series of these on. So I used this one just because it kind of had most of what the Stranger's mask looked like. And again, out of focus in the background, it was going to work perfect. But you're probably saying, but this doesn't look like Qimir. He doesn't have any black robes or anything like that. So let me show you how I got creative with that. I actually took my son's very first Darth Vader figure I ever bought him, which is a really cool figure. It's the kind where if you press, he was able to swing his lightsaber and everything like that. But what I did is, the cape on this figure is removable. So I popped the cape off, and simply using that little notch where it goes around Darth Vader, just took that notch and filled that in right there. And right off the bat, it was looking great. So then I had done a pop yourself where it allowed me to use as one of my accessories, a lightsaber. So I basically placed that in an alligator clip just to kind of hold that in place and made it look like it was coming out of the Stranger or Qimir's hand. Held that in place in the background. And I only did that for reference, knowing that his lightsaber is going to be blue, or red rather. I didn't need really to care what the color of it was. I just needed an angle or kind of a point of reference of how that lightsaber is protruding in the darkness out of his hand from behind his cape there. Being that there isn't, again, a Stranger, it was going to be what I had to do to make this image work. And I think it worked pretty nicely. Keeping him out of focus in the background, having all the attention on Soul as always looking over his shoulder. And like we saw in the actual episodes, there's times that the Stranger would creep up on you and try to sneak attack. So it was going to really work well for the image I had in my mind. So a few things that we did do too to kind of add some more drama to this. I added my nano misters, which allowed us to give a little fog on the set, and that really helped kind of blend in the background to the foreground, because I did some blur of the foreground and stuff like that, so I could kind of make that kind of moss more, not so noticeable, not so detailed. I want that to kind of be less in focus, so we could actually focus on what's going on, the dynamic of that scene, Soul and the Stranger. So I did that, add a little vignette on the edges as well. But basically in Photoshop, all I did was play with my hue, saturation, vibrance, and levels just a little bit to tweak, because I had most of that in the camera, and then I just had to add both the blue lightsaber effect and the red lightsaber effect, and that was really it to get this final image.
Show your face.
And let you read my thoughts. No, no, no.
So if you enjoyed this kind of content today, please hit the like, definitely hit the subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next episode of Poptography. Until then, may the Force be with you.